Alright, today we're talking about how to animate objects using placeholders, alarms, images. Alright, let's start here. First, we're going to talk about placeholders here. We have an object. Basically, it's going to fly down using paths, like a curve shape. So basically it's going to start out as a placeholder. So placeholder basically is going to keep it set there for so many seconds, and then it's going to switch to a different object, and it's going to parachute down using a path, and then it's going to come, basically it's going to come and land on this yellow line, which is going to be invisible, and then it's going to animate, and it's going to show that the parachute is going to basically disappear, and then you'll be able to select the object. So let me show you a demonstration here first, and then I'll show you how I did it. Alright, so it's on the timer right now. It's going to eventually come down about a couple seconds from now. See, it starts floating down here. I have another one coming down too. You can't click on it yet, of course. Don't have it set that way. Then it's going to animate. Animates down. And it's going to animate. Now you're able to select the item. So this is how I did it. So basically the placeholder set here, it's just an image, and I do also have it set, the origin, the X and Y, to the middle. The crosshair is going to be in the middle section here at 190 to 357. This, you need to have the crosshair in the location you want the animation to happen. So when you click on the object, it's going to animate in this location right here. It's going to show that yellow effect that when I clicked on it, it showed that animated glow. If you don't have the crosshair anywhere, it's pretty much, the Game Maker has it set over up in the corner here, basically, so it's going to show that animation, that glow up in the corner there, and that's where you don't want that, because you want it on the actual object. So make sure that you set your crosshair in the location you want it at, so when you click on it, it'll radiate in that direction, in that position. And you have to do that for all objects. And then the modify mask is going to be only on the object itself here. Everything else that you click on, it won't be clickable. Be sure that your mask is set for all the objects that you do for this animation. Alright, so that's the first one. So as a placeholder, so I went to the add event, went to create, and then I went over to the actions and dragged over a move object and kept it at direction in the middle, speed at 0, and then basically I go to the main 2 tab here, and then I drag over another, a move fix object from the move tab up here. Then I drag over a timer, and the timer is going to be set number of steps room underscore speed, and I have an asterisk of 6. If you want, you could change this to 120. If you want it, basically 120 means that after like maybe 4 minutes it's going to come down. But if you set it to like 6, then it's going to come down a couple, like maybe a couple seconds. It'll come down. So like if you have it set to 300, then it's probably going to wait and stay there until up to, I don't know, 6 minutes, and then your placeholder will jump to the animation. But for this demo, I just have it set to 6 seconds. Alarm set to 0, and then you have to go over here and make sure it matches up. Add event, go to alarm, and then choose your alarm 0, because that's what I have it set to over here, alarm 0. And then I just copied this alarm 0 to room speed 6 to over to alarm 0. It's the same seconds, same alarm 0, and then it's going to switch to flying down. So basically after the placeholder, which doesn't do anything and it's not visible, and I have the depth at -1, it's basically going to switch to this fly down object, and I perform event as correct. So then go to fly down object, and basically this is where I have the path set. So it's going to be this object right here. Modify mask is still in this object image only, not in this white space here. So anything in this area here you can click on, but in this demo I don't have anything. When you click on it, it doesn't do nothing until he gets rid of the parachute. And basically it's going, then I have a set path, so I'll go to, I created a path in the folder paths. So in this path here I have it set to do a curve effect, and then you press the arrow down and the curve continues and ends right there. So that's how that works. Basically, it's all you do to make a path, and I've already talked about that before, is create a path, and then you basically just add your points, just click on it by using the mouse, and GameMaker makes everything in a triangle fashion. So you want to, in this demo I unchecked closed, and then I changed it to curves, and then I pressed the arrow down to stretch out the line. So that's basically what I did there. I moved the little blue circles more over to create more of a curve. Press up arrow to go back, stretch out the line, create a curve more. That's how I created that, and then press the check button. Don't want to save it. Alright, so basically to get this path and actions, I went to create, then created a create, then I went to the move tab, and then went to the paths, dragged that over. Inside here I selected the path 0 because that's what the file is called, path 0. And then I changed the speed to 4, so it's going to move 4 speed down, and then at end it's going to stop, and I have it set to relative, set to self. Then when it hits the bar, which is this yellow thing right here, this object right here, which is invisible, because that's where it's going to stop at, right here on this land piece right here. Basically it's going to stop the animation, so I have it stop the animation. Depth is -1. It's visible, of course. And also it's going to stop the path. You have to have it stop. You have to get rid of the path. So you go to the paths, bring over end path, and set it to self. So it's basically going to state that, you know, it's going to stop the path making the object move. It's going to stop that from happening, and then it's going to switch to the stop animation image. And I know in the create, under the set paths, it does say something about at end stop it, and I think what happens here is that the path is too, I created a path, but the path is kind of too long, so by the time it reaches the yellow line here, the path is still too long, so it's not going to stop. So I basically had to state that when he hits the bar, it's going to end the path. It's going to completely end it, so the object's not going to move anymore, and it's going to switch to another object, which is the stop animation. So in stop animation, basically I have a bunch of images for the parachute. So basically it's going to come down, the parachute's going to come down finally when it lands. And and then it's going to eventually become just the suitcase here, and there it is. And then it's going to jump again, one more animation after so many seconds, and then that's when you'll be able to select, you'll be able to click on it. So basically there's a bunch of animations here. I basically slowed it down by adding several images. I copied and paste, copy and paste. So there's like 3 images of the suitcase with the parachute open, and then it starts 3 cases of the parachute starting to come down, crinkle up, and then you have 3 more of it crinkling down more, and it eventually becomes the suitcase itself. And like I said, all this is modified inside the mask here. Precise collision. And at the same coordinates, x 190, y at 357. If you don't do the coordinates the same on all the images, it's going to jump. You don't want that to happen. You want to make sure they're all located in the same origin, same spot. Otherwise, it's going to jump when when you switch from one animation to the next. It's going to jump in a different area on your screen, and you don't want that. You want to have it in the same location so it looks smooth all the way through. That's why you need the origin at the same x and y coordinates. So the stop animation is going to happen. So basically all this animation is happening here is going to happen within 0.5 milliseconds. So go to create event and then go to your timer under the main 2 tab. Drag it over in room underscore speed asterisk .5 milliseconds, and then it's going to have alarm 0, and then it's going to do the same thing, milliseconds of 5.5 seconds, and then it's going to switch to the gray case, which is going to be just the gray case itself, where you're able to select on the object and use it. So if I change this animation without if I don't have the 3 frames for each animation, that means the animation is going to go faster, quicker, but I want to slow it down, so I have to add more images. But if you did take out some of the images and made it go fast, you would also have to change the milliseconds here from being 0.5 seconds to probably being like 0.2 seconds, milliseconds. So you just have to test it out and see how long it's going to take for the animation to happen, and then after so many milliseconds, then cut it off so it doesn't keep repeating, because it will keep repeating if you don't add in the milliseconds and make it jump to the next animation. Alright, and then basically it's going to jump to the gray case, which is just going to be the gray case by itself, and that's when you'll be able to select on it and it starts glowing and then not glowing. And the mask is going to be on the suitcase itself, nothing in this box here, but you have to have this big box open. It has to be consistent. All the images have to be the same big box for all the animations, otherwise it's going to jump in different locations on the screen too. So you got to make sure that all your animation has the same amount of space and the same location where it's going to be at, and even the crosshair has been the same location, because if you modify this box to be smaller, it's going to jump. So you want to make sure it's all the same size and everything for it not to jump. Coordinates, the same location. That's where it's going to the animation is going to radiate from when you click on it. It's going to show that glow effect. Okay, so you go to add event, click on the crate, and then it's going to, then on the fixed move position is going to be in the middle, 0 speed because you don't want it to move, and then you go to add event, click on the mouse button, and then say left click, and then I'm going to it's going to generate a sound. Power up sound means that you collected it and you don't want it to loop, you don't want the sound to loop. And then you're going to have an animation here, which is the ring effect, which is that glow effect I showed you. Go to the draw and you dragged over a crate effect, and then I clicked on ring type. There's other effects you can do. Origin at 0, Y is at 0, size is going to be large. Color I just chose green. And then where it's going to be located at, it's going to be above the object, and have it relative. And I think you have to have it checked relative. That means it's going to actually physically going to generate the animation in that location where you put the crosshairs at for the most part. So you want to have that checked. You could check below object. It would happen below the object of the your object you created. But I have it set to above, and then it's going to destroy. You have it set to self. If you set it to other or a different object, it's going to probably destroy the other object too. So basically I have two objects here. If I don't set it to self and I click on the object, it's basically going to destroy the other object too. So you want to make sure you set it to self. Set it to self basically, and then when you click on this, it'll keep this one still intact. Or you click on this, it'll keep this one still intact. If you set it to other or different object, it will destroy the other object at the same time when you click on one of them. So make sure it's set to self. And that's pretty much it. There's a lot of animation going on here for it, but you have to have the animation. You have to have all these images in here for it to animate smoothly. Unless you want to make it move fast, but in my opinion, it doesn't look real enough if it moves too quick. So I slowed it down by adding several of the same images 3 times for each image, and it seemed to look pretty good. Okay, I hope that helped. I will put some information on YouTube about it using the code information. And you can download the GMX file if you want to play around with it. And oh, I forgot to tell you, the bar, it's just the bar. I don't have it visible, and I stretched it out because Game Maker Studios allow you to stretch objects out. And then the road doesn't do nothing. That's that gray area here. I haven't, just the depth is 3. And that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching.